He wasn't lazy, not stupid, not reckless with money. He woke up early, worked hard, paid every bill on time, even saved a little, stacked some XRP, held on to a quiet hope. But something still wasn't right. Because after decades of doing everything right, he still wasn't rich. Still felt nervous every time the market dipped. Still hesitated when it mattered. Still lived like someone just trying to make it through. People told him, be patient, it'll come. But come where? When? And why did others who did less move faster? This wasn't about money anymore. It was a system glitch. And today, he had to face a truth no one dared to say. He wasn't rich. Not because he lacked opportunity, but because he kept walking in the wrong direction. If you've ever felt like I've done everything, but I'm still stuck, then this is your moment to flip the map, to stop wandering, and start building on the path where the rich list is waiting. Part 1. You work hard, but feel stuck. He did everything they said. He stayed out of debt, lived within his means, invested what he could, even bought XRP before most people had even heard of it. But still, something felt off. He wasn't rich, wasn't free, wasn't secure, just stuck. Like a man running on a treadmill, burning energy but never moving forward. He'd check his XRP wallet, see the number, see the price. But it didn't give peace. And deep inside, he started asking the question most men never say out loud. What if doing the right thing isn't enough to make me rich? He wasn't lazy. He wasn't dumb. He just didn't know there was another level. One that didn't reward effort alone, but direction, conviction, execution. He was walking the safe road, the average road, the one paved with almost made it stories. And every day he stayed there, he wasn't failing. He was settling. But that was about to change. Part 2. The illusion of doing enough. He told himself he was doing enough, saving a little, stacking XRP on the dips, watching the charts, reading the headlines, telling his wife, "It'll pay off one day, we're doing everything right." But deep down, he knew he wasn't all in. He was hedging, hoping, dipping his toe, not jumping in with both feet. He wanted rich results with average risk, legendary outcomes with everyday effort. And that's the illusion. It whispers in your ear, you've done enough. Now just wait. But wealth doesn't reward enough. It rewards precision, discipline, conviction that moves quietly when the market sleeps. The XRP Rich List? It doesn't measure how many hours you watch YouTube or how long you've been hodling. It watches who you become when nothing's happening. Most men stop just short. They mistake motion for progress, confusion for strategy. But he was beginning to see it. The illusion of enough was the greatest enemy of greatness. And the longer he believed it, the longer he stayed stuck in that almost rich zone. That was the lie he had to break. Part 3. When numbers stop being enough. At first, it was about the number. A goal, a target, a screenshot on his phone that said, "When I hit 10,000 XRP, I'll feel safe. When I reach 50,000 XRP, I'll feel free. When I get to 6 figures, I'll finally exhale." But when the number came, nothing changed. His hands still shook during the dips. His mind still ran wild at night. His heart still whispered, what if this isn't real? Because numbers don't fix identity, and digits on a screen don't rewrite the man looking in the mirror. What he was chasing wasn't wealth. It was peace. But peace doesn't come from portfolios. It comes from position, conviction, vision that stretches past the charts. He thought the XRP Rich List was a number. But the real list? It's written in who you become under pressure. It's minted in silence, stamped in every moment you hold, build, believe, without applause. He realized he had wealth in his hands, but poverty in his mindset. And until that changed, no number would ever be enough. Part 4. The day he got honest with himself. One morning, before the world woke up, he stared at his own reflection. No charts, no price feeds, no noise, just silence. And a question he couldn't dodge anymore. Am I truly building? Or am I just collecting coins and calling it vision? It hurt. Because the truth was, he had stalled. He called it holding, but deep down he knew he was just hiding. Behind screenshots, behind headlines, behind that quiet excuse. One day, it'll all work out. But wealth doesn't arrive, it's built. And that day, for the first time, he stopped lying to himself. No more pretending he had a strategy when he was really hoping for luck. No more saying he was patient when he was just paralyzed. He wrote down what scared him. I've been passive. I'm scared to lead. I don't have a plan. And instead of shame, he felt relief. Because when you're finally honest, you can finally begin. That day didn't change his wallet, it changed his posture. He stood taller, thought clearer, moved sharper. The XRP Rich List didn't feel far anymore. It felt possible. Not because the number changed, but because he finally did. Part 5. The shift that didn't make sense to anyone else. He stopped chasing green candles, stopped refreshing charts, stopped talking about price. And just like that, people around him grew confused. Did you give up? They asked. Why so quiet? Is XRP dead or something? But they didn't get it, because the shift he made, it wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't for them, it was for him. He no longer needed the market to go up for him to move forward. He wasn't trading for dopamine, he was building conviction. While others waited for the right signal, he became the signal. He studied, he built, he simplified. Cut expenses, doubled his XRP target, focused on earning, not spending, and acted like he already belonged to the rich list. This confused his friends. But there's no pump. Why are you still stacking? Aren't you tired of waiting? They didn't see what he saw, because they never made the shift. The one where wealth is no longer something you hope for, but something you become. Not someday, not after the bull run, now. And the more confused they got, the clearer he became. Because conviction looks like madness to those who are still seeking permission. But the XRP Rich List, they don't wait to be understood. They walk forward when the world stands still. Part 6. The mindset that refused to shrink. He used to lower his goals to match his situation. Cut the dream to fit the budget. Make peace with just enough. It felt responsible. It felt mature. But it wasn't growth. It was surrender dressed as wisdom. Every time the market dipped, he'd shrink a little. Maybe 5,000 XRP is fine. Maybe I don't need that much. Maybe the rich list isn't for guys like me. But something in him snapped. Not in rage, in revelation. Why was he playing small in a game designed to be exponential? Why settle for safety when history rewards those who dare? So he rewrote the script. No more maybe. No more one day. No more cutting the dream to match his fears. He flipped it. He started cutting his fears to match the size of his dream. And the shift wasn't in his wallet. It was in his words, his walk, his wake-up time, his decisions when no one was watching. He stopped apologizing for wanting more, stopped making himself smaller so others could feel comfortable. Because the rich list doesn't shrink to fit in, it expands to build legacy. That mindset? It didn't scream, it stood. And every day he held that mindset, he grew. Not just his XRP stack, but his identity. Unshrinkable, unshakable, unstoppable. Part 7. The day he almost walked away. It wasn't a crash, not a scam, not even a rug pull. It was nothing. Just another week of sideways charts, another month of silence, another season where nothing changed, except his doubt. He checked his XRP wallet that morning. Same number, same price, same whisper. What if this never works? What if you're wasting years chasing a dream that never comes? He looked at the calendar, 3 years in. No Lambo, no freedom, no proof. That morning, he opened his phone with the full intent to sell it all. Exit. Walk away. Be rational. Reclaim normal. But then, he scrolled past his notes, found the number he wrote on day 1, 100,000 XRP. Underneath it, just 4 words, "Because I said so." That line broke him, not in weakness, in remembrance. He remembered the fire, the why before the doubt, the decision made in silence, not emotion. He didn't sell, didn't walk, didn't fold. Instead, he took a walk. No music, no charts, just wind and memory. And he whispered, "Today's not the day I quit. Because I don't walk away from things I was born for." That was the day the Rich List stopped being optional and started becoming inevitable. Part 8. The fire that burned everything. Fake. It didn't happen overnight. But one day, he noticed. He wasn't chasing screenshots anymore. Didn't care who posted 10x gains. Didn't click those YouTube titles. Next XRP moonshot. Retire by Friday. Top 5 altcoins exploding now. Because something in him had burned. Not his hope, but the parts that were fake. The need for applause. The obsession with speed. The fantasy of effortless wealth. Gone. In its place, fire. Real fire. The kind that doesn't scream. It simmers. It builds. It refines. He stopped talking about XRP. Stopped explaining his plan to friends who never listened. He just worked. Stacked. Built. And in that silence, he heard something powerful. This isn't about impressing the world. It's about becoming the kind of man the world can't shake. He sold nothing, but he let go of everything that wasn't him. The fear, the noise, the ego. And what remained was someone unrecognizable. Not to the world, but to his old self. He no longer needed to believe. He knew. That day, the fire didn't burn him. It purified him. And from those ashes rose a builder, not of charts, not of hype, but of wealth, quiet, unshakable, generational. Part 9. The moment he stepped into his power. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It didn't come with a pump or a tweet or a crowd. It came in a moment so ordinary, you might have missed it. He was alone. A cold morning, a black coffee, an XRP wallet that hadn't moved in weeks. But something else had moved. Him. He didn't check the price, didn't need a green candle to feel strong. He wasn't asking anymore. Is it working? Should I sell? Do I belong here? No. He looked in the mirror and whispered, I'm not hoping anymore. I'm owning. Not just XRP, but the mission, the identity, the responsibility. He wasn't trying to time the market. He was becoming the kind of man who didn't need to. And suddenly, everything changed. Because power isn't loud. It doesn't seek attention. It doesn't panic when red candles come. Power is quiet, unshakable, earned in the dark. And that day, for the first time, he saw it in himself. Not potential, proof, not maybe, now. He didn't need anyone's permission, didn't wait for clarity, didn't ask for reassurance. He had stepped into something most men never taste, conviction that doesn't ask, it leads. And from that moment on, he was no longer watching the Rich List. He was it. Part 10. Welcome to the You Are Rich List. He didn't cross the line with noise, no fireworks, no crowd, no applause, just quiet, like a man walking home, not for the first time, but for the first time knowing it was his. He wasn't richer on paper. He wasn't viral on the internet. He wasn't even noticed. But he was free. In his mind, in his habits, in his walk. Because this list, it doesn't wait for headlines. It doesn't care about trends. It watches men rise quietly, while others chase, compare, collapse. He didn't buy more XRP to prove anything. He didn't check his wallet to feel worthy. He just kept showing up. In discipline, in patience, in truth. That's the real list. Not the one everyone talks about. The one that's built. One decision at a time. And now, when people ask him what changed, he just smiles and says, "I stopped waiting to be chosen. I chose myself." Welcome to the You Are Rich List. Not because you got lucky, but because you finally became unshakable. And now, you're not watching the list. You are the list. And this time, you're never going back. You heard the story. Not of a millionaire, not of a genius, but of a man who finally decided to stop almost living and start becoming. And maybe, right now, you're standing at that same edge. So before this episode ends, let me ask you one question. Are you ready to stop surviving and start owning your seat on the You Are Rich List? Because no one's coming to crown you. You must crown yourself. And if this voice, this message, awoke something in you today, then don't let it fade. Subscribe now to XRP Today USA. Re-listen. Share it with one person you trust. Drop a comment and tell me, what part hit you the hardest? Because this isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. And the next name on the list could be yours. You're not late, you're just early. Welcome to the beginning.